All right, if Mr. Lumberjack were to cut his log vertically down the middle, what cross section would he produce? So if he were to cut this up and down, what would he show? Or what would show on the other side? A rectangle is correct. So think about a half of a log. And I just want what the side he cut. I know obviously it's like a half cylinder, but just the side that he cut would be a rectangle. So C is the answer. All right, next. How many vertices does this figure at the right have? What does vertices mean? How many points? So how many points do we see here? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up top. And 6 on the bottom is how many total? That is 12 total vertices. Good. How many edges? What are edges? So let me see. This is probably too big. So remember, again, vertices is the points. Edges is what? Where the sides meet. It's the lines on this. So how many lines are there? Up top, how many are there? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do y'all agree 6 lines up top? Yeah. And how many lines on bottom? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because those are the bases. Remember, the bases are going to be the same. So 6 plus 6 is 12. And then what else do I have lines? The ones up and down connecting them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what is 12 plus 6? 18. So that was 6 lines up top, 6 lines connecting them, and 6 lines on the bottom. I don't really like having those 6s on my board. But 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18. Last but not least, how many edges do we, faces do we have? What are faces? The flat surfaces. So do you agree we have one up top right here? That's one of my bases. And we have one on the bottom. That's another base. So we have 2 bases. And then how many flat surfaces around? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, remember what I told y'all on Friday. If you have a hard time seeing this, what can you do?
Ask for it.
Yeah, and you don't even have to ask. Go up there and go find it and go get one so that you can physically count it if you need to. All right, so if it has 6 around and the 2 bases, how many is that total? 8. There are 8 faces on this figure. All right, if you can please put your warm-up away. This will probably be the last warm-up of the year that I'm taking and that we're doing. So just make sure you do this. So this is a free 100. Today we're going to talk all about prisms and cylinders. I'm gonna go. We talked about this on Friday, but a prism always has how many bases?
2.
2 bases. And your bases are what?
The top and bottom.
The top and bottom, but like if you look right here, it's not always going to be on the top and bottom. So how do you know which one are our bases? They're never going to touch, and they're always going to be
Parallel.
parallel means never touch, and they'll always be congruent. They'll always be the same shape. So if you look right here, although this rectangle is on the bottom, it's not my base because it touches the other rectangles. Hold on, let me grab this real quick. So which one is my base here? Do you agree this triangle right here will never touch this triangle over here?
Yeah.
And do y'all agree they're the same shape, same size? So those are my bases. So sometimes, a lot of the times, I'm going to have the prism stand up on the base, but not always. Same thing right here. Yeah, I have a rectangle down here, but it touches the other rectangles. You have to find the shape that does not touch the one that looks like it. So here is my hexagon. It does not touch the other hexagon. What about this right here? Do y'all agree this one right here will never touch that right there? But are they the same shape? They're not. So are those the bases? No, those aren't the bases. What are my bases here?
It's this one.
Yeah, what shape is that though? Do y'all know what shape that is?
A rectangle?
No. No. It's the shape y'all have the hardest time with.
Triangle.
No, it's not triangle. It's a
Trapezoid.
trapezoid. Oh, I didn't hear it. Alright, so trapezoid is kind of the one y'all have the hardest time with, but these are trapezoids right here. So this is a trapezoidal prism.
Because they're not triangles, they're not rectangles.
Exactly.
So if both of the bases are not the same, it would be the side.
Yeah, you have to find the two sides that are the same. The bases have to be the same.
Oh.
So if they're not, that's not the base.
Okay.
Yep. Good question. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about volume and surface area. What does surface area mean? What is the surface?
How much room something is?
What does it mean to be the surface?
Just
The outside, right? Touching the outside. What does area mean?
an
How much it covers, right? So surface area is how much area is on the outside. I want you to think about if I were to ask you to paint this, what am I asking you to do? I'm asking you to paint the surface. And when you're painting, didn't we learn last unit that's area? So if I ask you to paint this, that's surface area. What if I asked you to wrap this like a present? That's surface area. All right? Surface area is the outside. How much outside covers this shape? Now, what is volume? Volume is how much is inside. So if I could, this one's gonna, oh, there we go. All right, if I could, volume is how much can I fill up inside? Surface area is if I want to paint the outside, how much yellow is on the outside essentially. Volume is how much water could I fill up in your inside, or paint, or whatever you fill things up with, right? Okay, the other word that you're going to see today is lateral surface area. Regular surface area is when you paint or wrap all of it. Total surface area is what we call that. But lateral surface area is if I were just doing around, not my bases. For instance, this water bottle. This water bottle has a wrapper around it. Do you agree? Now, granted, it's not the whole thing. But a lot of times, like cans, do you agree they wrap the whole thing? This is lateral surface area because it only goes around. Does it touch my circles up top and on bottom? No. So that's not total surface area. That's lateral surface area. All right? So we're going to get, bless you, we're going to get to that in just a second. What I would like you to do right here up top is the volume is the space inside. An example of that I can think of is like, let's do soup cans. So we're going to say soup in a can. The soup in the can is the volume. Do y'all agree with that? Mm-hmm. Okay. What is the lateral surface area? Yeah, it's the area around. So that would be like the label of a can. For lateral surface area, do we include the bases? So if you want to also add that in, you can write does not include your bases. And then total surface area is your area of all faces. That would be like, on a soup can, how much aluminum do you need? How much of the can do you need? Does that make sense? So I'm going to just say, does that make sense if I write aluminum of can?
No.
Would that make sense on your paper or no?
Yeah.
Silver on a can? No.
The material?
Yeah, material of a can. There we go. area of all faces, that is lateral faces and bases. We're going to do spheres tomorrow, so flip 1, 2, and make sure you go to cylinders and prisms, because that's what we're doing today. 1, 2, and cylinders and prisms is what we're doing today. Now, just like last unit, are you going to have to memorize these formulas? No. I'm going to give them to you. I just want you to see a formula chart. We did area last unit. Do you see how it has a whole surface area section here and a whole volume section down here? All right. So I do want you to know that these are going to be given to you. You don't have to memorize them. Okay? If you are playing a game on your computer, I need you to close it out. First things first, before we do anything, I want to label these. What do you think H stands for? Heights. H does stand for the height. And I want you to know, because it does get complicated, the height doesn't necessarily, do you agree this is 3, how tall it is 3? Yeah, but that's actually not the height. The height is how far away are the bases from each other. So it actually would be 10. So right next to height, if you can, in small letters, you might want to write how far the bases are. How far the bases are. And I am usually going to shade the base for you to know. Anybody want to guess what P is? Perimeter of what? It's of the base. Perimeter of the base. And what does big B stand for? It actually stands for area. But it's area of the base. Why didn't they use A? I don't know. So again, you are not going to have to memorize these, so I am just going to give you these formulas. Lateral surface area is pH. Remember, lateral is around. What do you think total surface area would then be? It's going to be pH plus, what do we include when we do the total surface area? The bases. How many bases are there? So it's going to be plus 2b. Lateral is just around. Total is around plus your 2 bases. And then last but not least, volume is big BH. You do not have to memorize those. All right, so how do we do this? We are just going to plug in the information. So on number 1, I'm going to make the base. Do y'all want to make the base the bottom or the side? It doesn't matter. The side? Okay. So I'm going to shade in the sides. These are my bases. Do y'all agree they're never going to touch? Yeah. And do you agree they're the same? Yeah. All right. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is find all of this stuff on the right. I need to figure out what H, P, and B are before I can do anything. H, the height. How far apart are my 2 bases? 10 centimeters is my answer. My 2 bases are 10 centimeters apart. P, how do I find the perimeter of this base right here? What does perimeter mean?
The outside.
Adding all the outsides. So what are my outsides here? 8, 6. What's this one? 8. And what's the top? So I'm just going to add that together. 8 plus 6 plus 8 plus 6. And you are right, I get 28 centimeters. How do I find big B? How do I find the area of this right here? Base times height, which is 8 times 6 or 6 times 8. What is 8 times 6 or 6 times 8? And because this is area, it's going to be centimeters squared. If you can find those three things, that's the hardest part.
So perimeter is only one of the...
Only one of them. Both of them are only one of them. You're only looking at one of them when you're answering this. Good question. Yep. That's the hardest part. Once you find those three things, now we're just going to plug them into this. So, for lateral surface area, by the way, sometimes we call this LSA. And total surface area, I usually just call it SA. So we have to find lateral surface area, total surface area, and volume now. Lateral surface area is pH. What is my P? 28. What is my H? 10. And what is 28 times 10? 280. And it's area, so it's going to be centimeters squared is my answer. What is SA? What is total surface area? pH plus 2B. So P was 28 and H was 10. Plus 2, what's my B? 48. And guys, y'all just plug that into Desmos, exactly like you wrote it down. So you can just do 28 times 10 plus 2, 48. Also, didn't you already do pH?
Yeah.
Could you just type in 280 plus 2, 48? It's the same thing. Doesn't matter. So what do we get? 376 centimeters. It's still area, so squared. Please write this down. Joe, you with me? You with me? Okay. Last but not least, what's volume? Big BH. What is my big B? 48. What is my H? And 48 times 10 is 480. And since this is volume, it's going to be centimeters cubed. And that is my answer. So we found out if we were to wrap around what the area was, if we were to wrap all of it what the area was, and how much we could fill inside of it. What questions do I have? Again, what's the hardest part of that? Some of you are like, it's not bad at all. I would say the hardest part are these two right here, P and B. Not that they're super difficult, but they're definitely can trick you. All right, number 2. I got to find these three things, H, P, and B. What are my bases here? The triangles. Let's shade those triangles because we know they're the bases. What's the height? How far apart are these triangles? 10 again. And this isn't centimeters, so I'm just going to put U. It's fine if you did, but yeah. Be careful. What is the perimeter of my base? One of them. No. If this is 4 down here, what's over here? 4. Why would it be 12?
Because it's 3, 4, 5.
It's 3 and 4. What's that diagonal going to be? Every time. If you have 3 and 4, the diagonal will be 5. So how do I find perimeter of something? Add it. What is 3 plus 4 plus 5? 12 is correct. Does that make sense what I just did, y'all? Let me zoom in for some of y'all. 4 down here, so I put 4 over there. And if we have 3 and 4, that diagonal will always be 5. Add them together. Last but not least, how do I find the area? What shape is this again? So how do you find the area of a triangle? We just did that last unit. And if you're not sure, you can always ask me for one of these just so you can look off of it. But go to your notes. Go to the area page we did and go look for triangle if you can't remember. 1/2, what is the base of my triangle? 4. What is the height of my triangle? What's 4 times 3? Half of that? So this is 6 units squared. I'm going to give you 3 minutes. I would like you to find these 3 answers. Go. Yeah, I need to ask about it. Are you logged into? Yeah, that's you. Let me email them and I'll ask them about it again because it hasn't been working lately. The lateral surface area, what did y'all get? 120 is correct. Units squared because it's area. What about total surface area? 132. Just like last test, this test is also going to be, you get points for showing work. So make sure that you are plugging in and showing work. And then volume is big VH, so what is that going to give me? Wait, 64. That's a U.
Oh, I'm sorry. 60.
Units cubed. And does it weird you out a little bit that the volume is less than the surface area? But that's okay. Like that, it can happen. All right? We just did 2 examples of prisms. That's all there is to prisms. All right, find the perimeter, find the area, plug in those things. We're now going to do cylinders. Cylinders is actually the same. The lateral surface area is pH. The volume is big BH. And the total surface area is pH plus 2b. However, what's different about a cylinder? There's no lines. What are there? The bases are circles. How do you find the perimeter of a circle? Close. That's area. 2r squared. So, as a reminder, perimeter of a circle is circumference, 2 pi r. Sorry, not 2r squared. I said that wrong. 2 pi r. So because of that, I'm actually going to give you, it is the same formulas, but I'm going to give you, hey, just as a reminder, the perimeter of a circle is 2 pi r. So this is 2 pi r h. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Times the height?
Times the height, because the height's right here. So this perimeter, this right here, 2 pi r, is the perimeter. And then they have the height. Same thing right here. PH is 2 pi r h plus 2. What is big B for a circle? What is the area for a circle? Pi r squared. So these are the formulas I would use instead. It's the same formula, you just have to remember less. So if you look on here for cylinder, it has these. Like it doesn't have cylinder and prism together. However, look at volume. They were kind of rude on volume. They did give it to you together. So you still have to know how to find the area of the base. Does that make sense, what I'm trying to say? They're the same formulas, but this one's just a little bit more in-depth. All right? For cylinder and prism.
Well, wait, so the bases, anything different on the area of the base you just do one?
Yes. For this one right here?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yep. All right, so cylinders are a little bit different. We have to find the height still. But now what do we need to find instead to fill into our formulas? The radius, RR. So what is the height of this cylinder? 22. What is the radius of this cylinder? 15. And now I can plug in to these three formulas. My lateral surface area is 2 pi RH. 2 pi. What is R? And H. And when we put that in the calculator, what do we know about putting things in the calculator? Do not put pi. However, based on your last test, a lot of us forgot to put pi on the paper. Don't forget to put it on the paper. So what is my answer going to be here?
660 pi.
That's my answer. How do I find total surface area? I'm going to redo that one. And you are right. You could just do 660 plus whatever comes up. And put that in the calculator. So this is 2, don't put the pi, 15, 22, plus 2, don't put the pi, 15 squared. $1,110 is not my answer. What is my answer? Pi. 1,110 pi. My volume is big BH. How do I find the area of this base? So it's going to be pi r squared h. Pi 15 squared times 22.
Why is it not 2 pi r squared?
Because there's not a 2 in front of this big B. You see how in the formula right here there's yeah, in this formula right here there's a 2 in front of the B. That's part of the formula. In this formula there is not. So good question. So this is going to be no pi, so I got to put 15 squared, and what's h? 22? Oh. 4,950 is close to my answer. Pi, and it's going to be units cubed. I know cylinders right now seems a little menacing. Like that seems like a lot, right? But once you get to practicing, you're just plugging into a formula. It won't be bad. Okay? Last but not least, this question says the volume of a cylinder is 135 pi centimeters squared. I am giving you this volume. Do y'all agree volume is big BH? I am telling you the volume is 135 pi. The height of the cylinder is 15 centimeters. What is the base of a cylinder? Instead of writing big B, what can I write instead? What's the area of the base of a cylinder? Pi r squared. The 2 is with circumference. Yeah. And then what did it tell us the height was? 15. So I'm going to plug that in. I want to know what is the radius. What can I do here first? Cross out my pi's. And I can divide by 15. Oh. 135 divided by 15 is 9. Thank you. Oh. There we go. So this is going to be 9 equals r squared. How do I get r by itself? Square root it. And what is the square root of 9? 3 is my answer. So what's the radius of this cylinder? 3. We're going to practice this more later, but do y'all remember when I gave you the area of a circle y'all square rooted? It's the same thing, but first you got to get rid of that height. You have to divide out that height. Okay? Plug in what you know and then get r by itself. We are done with these notes for today. Again, we're not going to glue in. We don't necessarily have time. There is a worksheet. We only have about 8 minutes left in class. We'll have time to finish this worksheet tomorrow. If you can maybe just start number 1.
What is this paper for?
This is the practice. We're not going to, we took a long time today to take those notes. Tomorrow's notes are literally going to take 10 minutes. So you'll have time to finish this tomorrow. But if you want to start it by doing the BP and H. Tomorrow will go a lot quicker.